Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our information session with graduate admissions. We're here to present the Masters of Occupational Therapy Bridge program. My name is Gabby. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions, and I'm thrilled to be here today with Dr. Bentley Root, who is the Program Director for the OT programs. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you very much, Gabby. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone.
So this presentation will give you an overview of the program, the admissions process, a little information about financial aid, and then at the end we will answer some of your most commonly asked questions. Bay Path University was founded in 1897. It is a private, nonprofit institution with 3 campuses. We have the Long Meadow campus, our East Long Meadow campus, which is where the Philip H. Ryan Health Center is, where all of your OT classes will be, and then we have our online campus. Our student body consists of nearly 5,000 students and more than 17,000 worldwide alumni. And we are accredited by the New England Commission of Higher Education. The Bridge program is accredited by the Council for Occupational Therapy Education of the American Occupational Therapy Association. As I mentioned, your OT programs are located at the Philip H. Ryan Health Science Center in East Long Meadow. And the Bridge program was launched in February of 2016. So in the Bridge program, there's 2 different tracks. There's track 1, which is for students with an OTA or PTA degree only. It is a 4-year program with 109 credits. You don't need any prerequisite courses for admissions, and the program starts once a year in January. Track 2 is for students with an OTA or PTA license and a bachelor's degree in any field. It's a 3-year program with 81 credits, 5 prerequisite courses for admissions, and the program starts as well in January. And I am going to pass this to you, Tracy, to cover the program overview and curriculum.
Great, thank you, Gabby. So as our slide here says, there's the track 1 path into the MOT and then the track 2 path to the MOT. Track 1 and track 2 is an internal name. You guys will hear it, so we do share it here. So track 1 is a 4-year program. The first year is fully online, and that is done in combination of taking OTB classes, which are conducted by occupational therapy practitioners, adjunct faculty, and full-time faculty here at Bay Path, as well as in conjunction with Bay Path Online, which gets you those prerequisites that you don't have before you come into the program. So that first year is fully online. Years 2 through 4 are a hybrid model where you will be online, primarily synchronous. There are live sessions required and it's in the syllabus, but those meetings are in the evenings because this program Bridge, both tracks, is designed for the working professional. So what happens is that in the spring and fall semesters, you do come to campus 4 times a semester. You do not travel in the summer. Summer is a fully online. Those 2 summers are fully online. You come at a cadence of about once a month. So if you think of it this way, it's sort of like 4 labs in a weekend, 4 individual labs in a weekend for those classes. So every weekend that you come, the way that we're designed is that there are 2 courses that have lab components or 2 distinct entities that require lab component and lab time. So you are with us on Saturdays and Sundays, not every Sunday, but do plan on being with us Saturdays and Sundays on the weekends that you are assigned to come to East Long Meadow to the Ryan Center. Now track 2 is literally years 2 through 4 of the track 1. So you start the OTP classes, and that's the course code for the MOT program, OTP. You would start those in January, and it's the same cadence of you come to campus, and then you have summers fully remote, and then in the fall, your same synchronous, asynchronous courses held in the evenings in the fall. In total for both tracks, you come to East Long Meadow a total of 20 times. I like people to hear that. It's 5 semesters, 4 times a semester. So what occurs is that you will receive your schedule. You'll know what weekend you're assigned to, so then you can schedule your travel as well as your housing around that. Next slide. Thanks, Gabby.
Yeah.
So now we'll talk about our curriculum design. We are a scaffolded model. So we follow principles such as modeling, guided practice, and then independent practice. So as if you look at our model of our home here as a visual, so if you think about when you're building a house, foundationally you want a strong basement. So when you then move over to the right to our diagrams and then our chart, it talks about foundations of awareness. So you want to think about a strong basement. That's what we're building. We're building a strong basement, foundational materials, foundational information. So that builds upon the information you know from your prerequisites, and then it also speaks to content that you will build from, like a springboard. So you have that nice strong foundation, and then we start adding in the occupational therapy program courses. Awareness and knowledge gap, that starts with the introduction to occupational therapy, as well as the first course of research, and then advocacy is 510, and then moves on from there. So building of knowledge onto knowledge, skill, and overlap, and then finally with skill acquisition. So I used some phrases before when I was speaking about scaffolded curricular design, thinking about modeling or I do, which is that foundational information, and then that guided practice starts to happen a little bit more in the building of knowledge and knowledge skill overlap. And then the you do, or the independent practice, is that skill acquisition and application. So if you look at those courses, yes, there are a bunch of L's. So if you think about it, you get a lot of your information in the lecture, and then you're going to take that information and apply it. So you can see how that moves to guided practice and independent practice. A lot of the lab work is you practicing and doing, developing your clinical reasoning and skills. And then in that goal, skill acquisition and application, is where we start to talk about all the fieldwork courses. So that's level 1 and level 2, which I think takes us to our next slide. There we are, level 1. So what happens with level 1 in the bridge programs? You actually start the level 1s your second spring once you're taking the OTP classes. So for the track 1s, that's not until your third year, and in the track 2, that's the second year. So it would be January of that second year. So you start with the level 1 for adult and older adult, and then level 2 for psychosocial is in the summer, again, in your own neighborhood, all that good stuff. The program is very strong on community-based fieldwork experiences, experiential opportunities, and then also service. So promoting in your own area where you live. And then the third level 1 is pediatrics. So what happens is that in the bridge program, you're all working professionals. So the activities that are conducted during the level 1 fieldworks will work around your work schedule for the most part. You might have to take an afternoon off to work in the community, things such along that, but you do not have to take a week off. You never have to do, and I know you're all very familiar, being COTAs or PTAs, that it's not an observation. So you don't have to go out and observe or shadow someone on a level 1. It's much more hands-on. All of our level 1 fieldworks are overseen by master's prepared occupational therapists. So we definitely have you out there applying, like I was saying before, so that guided practice is really where you're at, stepping into some independent practice on the level 1 fieldworks. Gabby, next. And then level 2, this is the good one. This is after your didactic courses are done, and that's how we want to run our program. All of your in the seat classes, as they say, are done before you go out on your level 2. So what happens is this is the point where you are pausing your current position. You are knowing that you're going to have to be available on a full-time capacity for 2 level 2 experiences. Each are 12-week in duration. So those are the level 2s. We have an amazing fieldwork department here. We have 4 dedicated individuals who meet with you at about a year ahead of time before you start your level 2s to really get to know you, to know your areas of interest. They do their best to get you in an area that you want to be and in the setting with which you want to be, but we are obligated to get you exposure across the lifespan because we want to make sure that you have those skills that are necessary for entry-level practice. And as an MOT program or entry-level OTD, we have to be saying that you are prepared as an entry-level practitioner when you leave our doors and go to sit for the NBCOT exam. Right now, we have contracts in 35 states. I always like to say if you want to go to Montana and you have some place to stay in Montana, we can find you a site in Montana that you want to go. But right now, we don't have a site in Montana. You can give us an idea, but the main contact and establishing the contracts comes from BayPath and our fieldwork office. Gabby?
Awesome, thank you. For track 2, as mentioned before, there are some prerequisite classes that have to be completed, in progress, or not yet taken, but they do all have to be completed by that January start date. Those 5 prerequisites include Anatomy and Physiology 1 with a lab, Anatomy and Physiology 2 with a lab, Statistics, Developmental Psychology, and a class in Sociology, Culture, or Anthropology. Now, bear in mind, both A and Ps must be completed within the last 5 years, and the 3 other prerequisites must have been completed within the last 10 years. Courses may be repeated at a local accredited institution in order to meet grade or recency requirement. All prereqs must be completed prior to classes starting in January, as I mentioned, and each prerequisite course must be completed with a B- or higher. And Tracy, I'm going to pass this over to you to discuss the Occupational Therapy Doctorate.
Great. So our profession is a dual entry degree. So what that means is you can have a Master's of Occupational Therapy or an entry-level OTD. The Master's is a more cost-effective path, and it will get you out working quicker. What we have here at BayPath is that it allows you to finish your MOT here, go out, get your first jobs, and then you can think about coming back to our post-professional occupational therapy doctorate program. It again is fully online. We do accept 3 of the MOT courses for the advanced practitioner track into our OTD. The post-professional OTD truly allows you to specialize in an area that you want to go a little bit deeper into your career. Thanks, Gabby.
Yep. Here at BayPath, we do have a lot of student support for the graduate students. As you can see, there are many resources for you to reach out for any questions you might have. That includes not only the faculty and staff over at the Ryan Center, but also the registrar's office, graduate admissions, who you would be contacting me, career services, your accessibility services, online learning support, technical support, the Hatch Learning Commons, which has various different student support tutors and things like that, and student financial services for any financial questions you might have. And here is our wonderful occupational therapy faculty. They are going to be your #1 cheerleaders throughout the program and even after graduating. They're here to support you in anything you might need regarding to OT. Tracy, as you know, is one of them, but there are many different OT faculty members who are always there for you. And student financial services. As I mentioned in the previous slide, they are here for you for any financial questions or assistance you need from the time you submit your application all the way until you graduate. They are available through phone, email, or in person, and there are Stafford loans available for graduate students up to $20,500 a year or $100,000 for the degree. Just be sure to review all information on NetPartner, the Student Financial Services online portal. And you can reach out to them as soon as possible. You don't need to wait until you get accepted. They also do offer Financial Aid TV, which is a great resource for financial aid information. They have short 60-second videos or less going over things like FAFSA, other student loans, and you are always welcome to make an appointment via the link in the slide. And admissions requirements. Degrees from an accredited college or university must be sent directly from the college or university to graduate@baypath.edu. with a preferred minimum of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. For the application, you would do BayPAT's application, which is free online and only takes you a few minutes to complete. As I mentioned, you would submit all official transcripts to that graduate inbox. You would send a short answer on what does occupational therapy mean to you and why you're choosing a career path in the field, your current resume, 2 professional recommendations, a signed essential functions form, and then a copy of your OTA or PTA license. Once all of that is submitted, you'll typically have a meeting with either Tracy or one of the other OT faculty members. And here is the entrance of the Philip H. Ryan Center, where your classes will be held. This is our East Long Meadow campus, so it's about 10 minutes away from our main campus in Long Meadow. And here is the first floor. So this is where you can get yourself some snacks, some coffee. There's many different seating areas where you can sit and do coursework. You could take a little break in between classes. It's very beautiful, very new, and it looks fantastic. Here on the second floor is where your lecture halls are. Some of your lab areas are here, as well as a kitchen for you those long days when you're on campus and you want to bring your lunch. There's microwaves, there's vending machines up there as well, so anytime you need a snack in between classes, you're more than welcome to go there. And then these are the discipline-specific labs, which Tracy, I'm not sure if you want to cover that, just to go into a bit more detail for them.
Sure. The occupational therapy program has 4 distinct lab areas: anatomy, pediatrics, which is the bottom left, and then we also have psychosocial, and then our physical disabilities lab. So the bottom right is our physical disabilities lab, and that is where activities such as splinting and physical agent modalities, as well as a lot of our neuro-focused treatments, are in that lab. The upper right is actually a bay suite area for the that we share with the physician's assistant program, and we do have access to the cross sections as you see there. We also have a new space that is being developed for simulation, and we share that in combination with our nursing program, and we do have high fidelity simulators in that lab, which we just don't have pictures of yet. And then finally, we go to the model apartment, which is a fully operational apartment if you want to stay the night. I'm teasing. But it is a full kitchen, full laundry, full bathroom with all the complements of everything that we could possibly imagine for simulation in someone's home environment, as well as skilled nursing facility, as acute care as well, because we do have an area that is set up for acute care, toileting and showering, things such as that. We also have things like two-way mirrors, so students can be conducting their lab practicals and the faculty can be observing from another space. There's just many opportunities, and again, there's no better place to be as an occupational therapist than in your client's home.
Awesome. All right, and now we have arrived at our most commonly asked questions for the Bridge program. The first one is, how are the classes structured online?
Okay, so the majority of the classes in the Bridge program are asynchronous, which means that they are provided for you in a format with which you can view it, expose yourself to the material, really dig in at the time that works around your schedule. There are, every week, the faculty hold office hours, student office hours, usually around the 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We do work around because we have students across the country. So if you're not able to access one of the optional student office hours, they are recorded, of course, with privacy things in mind. That if it's information for all, when everyone is there listening to it, it will be recorded and posted to the course Canvas site. Our learning management system is Canvas, if anyone's curious. So all of that is then shared with you for a later time. If there is a synchronous component, again, it is around the work schedule, usually evenings 6 on, but that will be in the syllabus. But again, the majority of the time is asynchronous, so you can work around your learning around your schedule.
All right. The next question is, how does fieldwork work for the Bridge program? I know you had covered that, but I'm not sure if you just want to kind of break it into a brief synopsis so people can kind of keep it quick in their mind.
Sure. So the level 1 fieldwork again starts the 2nd January once you're into the OTP classes. They occur while you're in regular class time. Collectively, each of those courses are 1 credit hour in duration. There are 3 of them. So if you think of it this way, it's 45 hours of activities to meet the objectives of the bridge of the level 1 requirement for our accreditation. Again, around in your own community, serving your own community, and around the schedule that you have. So we do often use things for simulation as well. And then we have those courses fully supported by Master's Prepared Occupational Therapists who do run the Canvas courses and the assignments that are related to the level 1 fieldworks.
Great. The next question is, am I able to continue working full-time while completing the program?
You are. It can be done. We currently have students that have a very full life, work responsibilities, family responsibilities, that they are able to carve out that occupational balance that they need to finish out their degrees. Now, I will say they're very busy. But I also like to say that if you need support and assistance with things such as time management, Gabby went over all the student services that are available to you as an online or in a bridge hybrid capacity, which is what you're in. Anything that a day student has availability to, so do you. And one of those assets is an academic coach. So an individual who could work with you on time management skills, organizational skills, test taking strategies, things such as that. What I like to say is if you can structure and prepare to study, when you actually have time to study, you're much more efficient with the time that you have.
Great. The next question is, what do the on-campus weekends look like?
Okay. So what everyone does is they usually drive, fly, get here somehow Friday evening. Saturday morning is when classes start from 8 until noon. There is a lunch break for an hour, and then classes resume from 1 until that class is done at about 5 o'clock. 1 to 5. I had to do the math in my head. So what happens is then the next day, if you have a class that needs that Sunday time, then you have the other class Sunday morning. Sometimes the Sundays are used for lab practicals, or they're used for other classes. There's several semesters that do have enough content that we need to use Saturday and Sunday for time.
Great. The next question is, how much time should I plan to spend on coursework?
For every credit, think about 3 hours of related work. Okay, so prep work, credit work, assignment work, think about 3 hours per credit. So at a minimum, you're talking over 9 hours for a 3-credit class. That's at a minimum.
For track 2, do all of my prerequisite courses have to be completed before applying to the program? They do not. As long as they are completed before that January start, you are all set to take them and apply for the program.
So when you apply, and if you have everything except for, I'll just say for some reason, statistics, because that seems to be one that oftentimes OTAs and PTAs may not necessarily have from their associate's preparation or their bachelor's preparation. What will happen is that you will get a conditional accept, and on that it'll state upon completion with a B- or higher of whatever prerequisite is that you're missing.
Yes. And then finally, how do you help students prepare for the MBCOT exam?
All right, well, this I like to say is sort of our secret here, that Dr. Lazat, part of her role as the director of clinical education and the academic fieldwork coordinator, is she works with you while you're on your fieldwork to analyze the results of your OTKey. So every student, before they go out on fieldwork, they take the OT knowledge exam, so the OTKey. We take that information and then help to develop a study plan with you. The program provides NBCOT study pack, and then there is a fee that covers TrueLearn, which is a software platform that enables multiple ways to practice, and it also gives Dr. Lazat an inside view into how you're doing and then you can further craft and focus in on the areas of the different domains of the NBCOT exam that you are needing additional support in.
Perfect. All right. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My information is here on this slide. You can reach me by phone or by email regarding any admissions questions. Anything regarding to credit transfers or very course specific, I will introduce you to Tracy, but her email is also here on this slide, and we are always happy to connect with you. Thank you so much for tuning into the video, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Have a great day.